NFL weekly recap here today. This is week 13. And let's get started. We'll start with the 3 Thursday games. First one. Lions hold on to beat the Bears 23-20 to go to 11-1. Bears 4-8. That's the Lions' 10th win in a row. This game was looking like a blowout early, and the Bears turned it on. In the second half, obviously, the Bears coach botched it. The timeout situation at the end botched the game. Got fired as a result. But Caleb Williams wasn't doing much, and then he turned it on in the second half. 20-39, 256, 3 TDs, no picks. Sacked 5 times. He had a couple. I was watching some of that game. He actually had some really nice plays, extending plays and stuff. Yeah, he rushes for 39 yards. Swift also rushes for 39 yards. DJ Moore, 97 yards, 8 catches and a TD. Keenan Allen had a nice game, 73 yards receiving, 2 TDs. They get 2 sacks as a team. Goff, 221, 2 TDs, no picks. Montgomery had 88 yards rushing. Gibbs had 87 yards rushing. St. Brown leads the way with 73 yards receiving. Former Bronco Tim Patrick, 48 yards receiving. Sam Laporta had the 2 touchdowns, 3 catches, 6 yards, 2 TDs receiving. Gibbs lost a fumble. 2 sacks from Reeder, or Redder. So yeah, Lions 11-1 now. Bears are in the game. I think the offensive coordinator, right? I was told the offensive coordinator's taking over. I mean, they're right there, the Bears. They just, it could just be the coach. They need a good coach, so. Cowboys beat the Giants 27-20 to go to 5-7. Giants are 2-10. Drew Lock, former Bronco. 178 yards passing, no TDs and a pick. He sacks 6 times. He rushes for 57 yards and a TD, though. Tracy Jr. has 32 yards rushing and a TD. Neighbors, 69 yards receiving to lead the way. Drew Lock loses a fumble. They get no sacks. Cooper Rush, 195 yards passing and a TD for the Cowboys. Dowdle, 112 yards rushing and a TD. Turpin, 53 yards receiving to lead the way. Brandon Cooks has the receiving touchdown. They get sacks from 4 or 5 different guys, 6 different guys. Overshown does have a pick return for a TD. I feel like there was a lot of pick returns for TDs this week. I'll see if I was wrong. I know there was 2 last night. Well, 2 nights ago now. But yeah, Giants are what they are. They need an overall. And the night game on Sunday, Packers beat the Dolphins 30-17. Packers 9-3, Dolphins 5-7. Tua 365, 2 TDs, no picks. He's sacked 5 times. They run the ball for 39 yards as a team. Smith 113 yards receiving to lead the way on 10 catches. Tyreek Hill 83 and a touchdown. Number 28, 56 and a touchdown receiving. Washington loses a fumble. No sacks. Jordan Love 274 yards, 2 TDs, no picks for the Packers on 21-28. Jacobs 43 yards rushing and a TD. Tucker Kraft 78 yards receiving to lead the way. Jaden Reed has both receiving touchdowns. They get sacks from 5 different players. Oh, I keep forgetting they have Brandon McManus. He's 3 of 3 on the kicks. Packers are in 3rd place at 9-3 in their division. There's a Friday game. Defensive struggle, I suppose. Chiefs beat the Raiders 19-17. The Raiders botched a snap at the end of the game. Chiefs go to 11-1. Raiders are 2-10, fighting with the Giants. Worst team in the league. Whoops, wrong game. I think they made the. Did they make the playoffs with that win, the Chiefs, or was that last week? I forget. Chiefs players are still pissed though because they're struggling with teams they normally beat by 20. Doesn't matter though, honestly. I don't know if they're going to end up with home field throughout, but the league is very weak. Like, the Chiefs are 11-1. Chiefs have the pedigree to know how to win, so they're going to win these close games, so they can benefit from not being as great. They get to the playoffs, a different animal. They'll play their playoff game and do well. But the league's so weak that no one's going to take advantage of that. Like, no one's taking advantage of it. The Bills beat them, but the Bills ain't beating them in the playoffs. But no one's taking advantage of the fact that they're there for the picking, but they still can't get it done. So they kind of have a tight grip. Still, certainly on their division. O'Connell, 340, 2 TDs, no picks. Nice little game for him. He sacked 3 times. McCormick, 64 yards rushing for the Raiders. This guy, Brock Bowers, is rookie. This guy might be rookie of the year, dude. 10 catches, 140 yards, and a TD. Trey Tucker has the other receiving TD. O'Connell loses a fumble. They get 4 sacks as a team. No picks. Oof. Their kicker was 1 of 4. So the kicking problem continues for these guys blowing games by either getting their kicks blocked or just missing them. Well, I did not realize it was 1 of 4, so they left points on the board. The kicker for the Chiefs also misses a kick, but he was 4 of 5, so he was definitely better. No picks for either team. Mahomes, 306, a TD, no picks. He sacked 5 times. Oh, this guy came back, number 10. I'm not going to say his last. That was screwed up. He had 44 yards rushing. He leads the way. Hopkins, 4 for 90. Kelsey, 7 for 68. Watson has a receiving TD. 2 sacks for Chris Jones. No picks. So Chiefs 11-1. Raiders 2-10. Raiders are bad. They're trying to be bad too. I feel like the tank is on with them. On to Sunday. Chargers beat the Falcons 17-13 to go to 8-4. It's like the Chargers are a nice 8-4, but they're still 3 games out of first place. And they're a quiet 8-4. The Chargers, it's much like the Steelers. They're kind of flying under the radar, in my opinion. Falcons are 6-6. Kirk Cousins' 4th INT dooms Falcons to 3rd straight loss. That's the headline. We'll get to him. Herbert, 147 yards passing, no TDs, no picks, sacked 5 times. They don't do anything, the Chargers here. 56 yards rushing as a team. McConkey does have 117 yards on 9 catches. Haskins loses a fumble. They get 1 sack. There's the return TD for a pick. Still has 2 picks. One of them goes for a touchdown. James Jr. and May also have picks. Their kicker was 3 of 3. Dicker. Kirk Cousins, he lost them this game, let's be honest. 245 yards passing, no TDs, 4 picks. Robinson rushes for 102 yards and a touchdown. McLeod the third, 95 yards receiving. London has 86 yards receiving. Number 17 gets 2 sacks. Yeah, the Chargers barely had 200 yards of offense, but they get the win. Falcons are still tied for first, or might actually be in first. At 6-6, so... Bengals beat the Steelers 44-38 in a high-scoring affair. Steelers 9-3. Bengals 4-8. Steelers another quiet 9-3. Russell Wilson 414 yards, 3 TDs and a pick. Sacked twice. Harris 75 yards rushing and a touchdown. Pickens 74 yards receiving and a TD. Fryer Mouth as a TD. And Austin III as a receiving TD. 2 sacks from Watt. Dante Jackson with a pick. Their kicker did miss one. Pickens got yelled at by Tomlin called him out. I guess he was bitching about some shit, flags or something. Joe Burrow 309 yards, 3 TDs and a pick. He sacked 4 times. Chase Brown 70 yards rushing and a TD. Jamar Chase 86 yards receiving and a TD. Higgins 69 yards receiving and a TD. Number 80 has the other TD receiving. Joe Burrow loses 2 fumbles. Another return for a TD on a pick. So I was right on this. Taylor Britt has an interception return for a TD for the Bengals in a losing effort. Bengals are the disappointment of the year. The funny thing is they have they had to play Denver, who's obviously playing better Denver, but they have a fairly winnable schedule the rest of the year, so they actually could still make a run if they get it together. Vikings beat the Cardinals 23-22 to go to 10-2. Cardinals are 6-6. The NFC is a tale of not really actually. The South and the West are not doing great. The North is doing amazing, and the East has the 2 teams doing well. Kyler Murray, 260 yards, a TD, 2 picks. He sacked once. Connor, 68 yards rushing. They rushed the ball for 154 yards as a team. They lost this. The Vikings, I believe, got a touchdown in the final minute. McBride, 96 yards receiving on 12 catches. Harrison Jr. has the receiving TD. 2 sacks for Wilson Sr., 2 sacks for number 91. Their kicker missed a field goal, but he was 5 of 6. The Vikings kicker also missed a kick, so that's a wash there. Darnold, 235 yards passing for the Vikings. 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked 5 times. They only run the ball for 68 yards. This is funny. Darnold, 4 for 22. Akers, 4 for 22. Aaron Jones, 5 for 22 rushing. 3 dudes have 22 yards rushing. Justin Jefferson, 99 yards receiving to lead the way. Munt has a receiving touchdown. Aaron Jones loses a fumble. He fumbles twice, loses 1. 2 picks from Griffin and Murphy Jr. Kickers were getting work. That division's still up for grabs. I mean, you know, you got 11-1, 10-2, and 9-3. Oh, this game, I wanted the Colts to lose this game because they're behind Denver for the final playoff spot. But the Colts actually won this game at the end against the Patriots, 25-24 to go 6-7. Pats are 3-9, I believe. 3-10, sorry. They went for 2 to win the game, the Colts. They scored with, like, a small, very small amount of time left. And I even said, I was watching the game score, I was like, they're going to go for 2, I bet, to try to get this win. And they did. And they got it. Richardson, 12 of 24, 109 yards, 2 TDs, 2 picks for the Colts. Taylor rushes for 96 yards. Richardson rushes for a TD. Pittman Jr., 42 yards receiving to lead the way. Alec Pierce has a receiving touchdown. Jonathan Taylor has a receiving touchdown. They get 4 sacks. Blackman has a pick. Patriots kicker misses 2 fucking kicks. Once again, these kickers, man. I'm going backwards here. He's 3 of 5. Sly. What's his name? Ellis and Gonzalez have the picks. They get no sacks. Henry, 75 yards receiving. Hooper has a receiving touchdown. Stevenson, 73 yards rushing. Gibson, 62 yards rushing and a rushing TD. Drake May, 238 yards passing, a TD and a pick, and he's sacked 4 times. quarterbacks from this draft are all looking decent. Daniels, Nix, Williams, and May. Is there anybody else? I don't know. Jets lose to the Seahawks 26-21. They drop to 3-9. They're done. Seahawks 7-5. They have the division lead now. Jets were up 21-7 in this game. And lost. Geno Smith, 206 yards, TD, no picks, sacked 3 times. Walker the third, 49 yards rushing. 26 has a rushing touchdown. Number 11, 74 yards receiving. Barner receiving touchdown. Williams and number 1 lose fumbles. 2 sacks from Williams. Here we go again. Interception return. Leonard Williams, a 92-yard interception return for a touchdown. So what is that? Like, there was like 6 or 7 INT returns for TDs this week. That's nuts. And if there's any kind of record, we still got games to go. Rodgers, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns a pick. Brees Hall, 60 yards rushing. Devontae Adams, 66 yards receiving and a TD. He's almost in no better place than he was when he was on the Raiders. Davis has another receiving TD. Brees Hall fumbles twice and loses 1. 2 sacks from McDonald, the 4th. Oh, they do get a return touchdown from number 34, a 99-yarder. I guess a kickoff return. Jets are, they can't shake the stink. It's hard. Denver's shaking it at the moment. Anything could change, though. Commanders beat the Titans 42-19, so they did what they needed to do this week after struggling up a little bit for a while. They go to 8-5. Titans are 3-9. Levis 212, 2 TDs, no picks, sacked twice. They rushed the ball for 35 yards to the team. Number 15, 61 yards receiving and 2 TDs. Pollard and Jackson lose fumbles. They get 2 sacks. Hooker has another pick. Jaden Daniels, 206 yards, 3 TDs, and a pick for the Redskins, Commanders, Washington. Sacked twice. Robinson Jr., 103 yards. They rushed the ball for 267 yards on 45 carries. 103 from Robinson Jr., 94 from Rodriguez Jr., Daniels, 34, and the 3 of those guys each have a TD. McLaurin, 73 yards and 2 TDs. Ertz has a receiving touchdown as well. They get 2 sacks, no picks. Their kicker's 0 for 2, but it doesn't matter. He's 0 for 2 in field goals. He's 6 for 6 on extra points. Who's up next? Texans get by the Jags 23-20. Jags are also 2-10. Texans are 8-5. Stroud 242 yards, a TD, no picks. Sacked twice. Mixon 101 yards rushing and a TD. Nico Collins 119 yards on 8 catches receiving. Schultz has the receiving TD. And 61 yards. They get no sacks. They get a pick by Stingley Jr. Cam Little missed a field goal for Jacksonville. No picks. 2 sacks for the Jags. 103 yards receiving for Parker Washington and a touchdown. Thomas Jr., 76 yards receiving and a touchdown. Etienne Jr., 46 yards rushing. Mac Jones, 235 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. Lawrence had a pick and 41 yards. He got hurt. Had to leave on a hit that is going to get the guy suspended. He got thrown out. I was looking at it. It's hard with these plays because they're going so fast. People are saying dirty. People are saying it's not. I feel like this guy didn't have much time to react. I don't know. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on that. But either way, Lawrence did get hurt. He must have. I think he got concussed. It's dangerous, man. Rams beat the Saints 21-14 to go to 6-6. Saints 4-8. Stafford, 183 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. Sacked twice. Kyron Williams, 104 yards rushing and a TD. Puka has 56 yards and a receiving TD. Robinson has a receiving TD as well. They get no sacks, no picks. Derek Carr, 184 yards, a TD and a pick. A TD and no pick, sorry. Kamara, 112 yards rushing for the Saints. Scantling has the receiving TD. Hill has 37 yards receiving. 2 sacks, no picks. A good old 21-14 game. Rams are 6-6. Seahawks 7-5. Rams 6-6. Cardinals are 6-6. So that's going to come down to the wire. Bucks beat the Panthers 26-23 in overtime. They go to 6-6. Panthers are 3-9. Hubbard, yeah, that's right. Hubbard fumble in OT, I believe. The Panthers are playing better, though. They're not winning these games, but they are playing better. They're in them with chances to win. Mayfield, 235 yards, TD, 2 picks, sacked 4 times for the Bucks. Irving, 152 yards rushing and a TD. They rushed for 236 yards as a team. White also has 76. Evans, 8 catches, 118 yards and a TD. Mayfield fumbles twice, but doesn't lose any of them. What did I just hit? Nothing, apparently. It's just spazzing out. Yeah, it's just spazzing out right now. No picks for them. Tampa's kicker goes 4 for 5. Ooh. The Carolina's kicker 3 for 5. Misses 2 field goals. They get a pick from Woods and a pick from Wade. The Panthers do. Sacks by 4 different players. Hubbard loses that fumble. Thielen, 99 yards receiving on 8 catches and a touchdown. Bryce Young rushes for a touchdown. Hubbard has 43 yards rushing. Bryce Young, 298 yards and a passing TD as well. No picks. He's playing better as well, so you gotta have patience with these rookie quarterbacks for at least 2 years, I feel. Josh Allen took a little bit. You can't, unless the guy looks just outright terrible, mechanics and everything. You gotta give these guys some time, especially if you don't have a ton of talent around them. Okay. Eagles beat the Ravens 24-19. Eagles 10-2. Ravens 8-5. I want to say the Eagles have won like 7 or 8 in a row, right? Hurts 11 for 19, 118 yards, a touchdown, no picks. He sacked twice. Barkley, another good game here, 107 yards rushing and a TD. Hurts rushes for a TD as well. A.J. Brown, 66 yards receiving. Goddard, 35 yards receiving and a touchdown. 3 sacks. They do get a pick. No, sorry, that's not a pick. That's a return. Tucker, 2 for 4 on the field goals. Again, this guy's leaving points on the board. They get 2 sacks, the Ravens. Receiving touchdowns from Andrews and Likely. Zay Flowers has 74 yards receiving. Derrick Henry, 19, rushes 82 yards. Lamar Jackson rushes for 79 yards. On top of having 237 yards passing and 2 TDs. He's sacked 3 times, no picks. Ravens have, I think Steelers end up taking that division. The Sunday night game, Bills in snowy Buffalo beat up on the 49ers 35-10. They're 10-2. 49ers are 5-7. And McCaffrey's out again. They're done. They got a lot of injuries. 11 of 18, 94 yards for Purdy. TD, no picks. Mason, 78 yards rushing. McCaffrey had 53 before he got hurt. Number 31 had a rushing touchdown. Juwan Jennings has the 56 yards receiving to lead the way. 3 guys lose fumble. Number 44, Deebo Samuel Sr. loses 1, and Purdy loses 1. No sacks. Samuel did rack up 208 kickoff return yards. Their kicker misses 2 kicks, but it doesn't really matter. You know, it's snowy weather. They got an excuse, right? Only 1 sack in this game. Josh Allen, 148 yards. 2 TDs, no picks. 13 of 17. Trubisky gets in there, 101. Cook, 107 yards rushing and a TD. Davis, they ran for 220 yards. And San Francisco went for 153. This would be expected in a snow game. Ray Davis, 63 yards rushing and a TD. Josh Allen rushes for a TD. Josh Allen also had a receiving TD. So he gets all the TDs. Hollins also has a receiving TD. Knox has 56 yards receiving for the Bills. Bills need that home field. They gotta hope the Chiefs lose another game because they need that. That's not to say the Chiefs wouldn't beat them in Buffalo because they did last year, right? I just don't think if the Bills are like, please somebody knock the Chiefs out because they have not proven they can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, so they're probably plays anyway. And Monday Night Football. I was paying attention to this game on the Gamecast. It was an interesting one, an exciting one. Denver beats the Browns 41-32 to go to 8-5. The Browns are 3-9. Winston has what everybody is calling a Winston game. 497 yards passing, 58 passes he threw. 4 TDs, 3 picks, he sacked 3 times. Ford has 41 yards rushing to lead the way. Of course, Jerry Jeudy's running his mouth all week. Former Bronco has his best game yards-wise for his career. 9 catches, 235 yards and a touchdown. I think Wallace was covering him and was getting just destroyed all game. Denver had a 93-yard touchdown, and then in the next play, Jeudy had a 70-yard touchdown. It's a wild game. Moore has 111 yards receiving. Number 85 has 2 receiving TDs. Chubb has a receiving TD. They get no sacks. They get picks from Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome the second. Their kicker missed a kick. Denver's kicker was 2 for 2 Lutz and 5 extra points. They get 2 interception return touchdowns, Denver. They have 3 picks. Benito has an interception return, 71 yards. McMillan has one that pretty much iced the game, 44 yards. And Cody Barton one at the end, 56 yards. They get 3 sacks from 3 different dudes. Marvin Mims Jr. had 105 yards and a receiving TD. He's the one that had the 93-yard. It was a great pass, too, man. This was like a centimeter. The Browns guy flew over. Right in there, the pass, though. Just missed it. Great play. Cortland Sutton also has 102 yards receiving. McLaughlin rushes for 84 yards. Burton has a rushing TD, and Javonte Williams has a rushing TD. Bo Nix, 295 yards passing, a TD, and 2 picks on 18 of 35. His one pick, it was a great, I think one was tipped, and the second one was actually he kind of just overthrew the receiver, and the Browns defender was behind him and made a nice play. I don't know why they were throwing it deep, though, on a first down when they had the lead at that point. But they go to 8-5 Denver, though. They have a bye now, so then they play the Colts, which is a massive game. It's really a 3-way for that 7 seed, Colts, Dolphins, and Broncos. And now the Ravens are 8-5 too, but they beat Denver badly, heads to head, so they'd have that tiebreaker. But if they keep losing, that could help Denver as well. Nice to see them, though. Broncos would be losing these types of games last year and previous years. And I got to give Peyton credit. I was giving him shit. He finally seems to be finding a groove now and getting, he hadn't coached for a little bit, so they were 8-9 last year, so he's doing well. The D gave up a ton of passing yards, but they had 3 picks and 2 return touchdowns, so there you go. And it was Wallace that was getting really lit up by Jeudy for almost 200 of the yards came against him. Let's preview next week real quickly. Packers-Lions on Thursday night. There's a nice game. Jags-Titans, Jets-Dolphins. The Dolphins are 5-7. Sorry, they're not 6. I thought they were 6-7. Saints-Giants. Panthers-Eagles. Browns-Steelers. Bucks-Raiders. Chiefs, not Chiefs. Cardinals and Seahawks for a divisional battle. Bills-Rams could be solid. Bears, 49ers. Chargers, Chiefs, solid as well. And Bengals, Cowboys on Monday Night Football. But yeah, another week in the books. The usual teams are at the top, right? Chiefs and Bills are the 1-2. Not a surprise there. Steelers and Chargers, I feel, are a little bit of a surprise. Not that they're bad teams, but... and the Lions and the Eagles are at the top, which isn't surprising in the NFC. I mean, the 49ers you think would be better, but they've been dealing with injuries and stuff. But anyway, thanks for checking us out, and